Hello, I am Paula Bennett and welcome to my New Zealand Herald podcast, Ask Me Anything. The one thing I've learned in life is it's never too late to learn something new. So on this podcast, I talk to people from all walks of life to hear about how they got to where they are, get some advice and guidance on some of life's biggest questions. Jay Jay Feeney's radio career started back in 1991 when she was just 17. Do the math, people. Ooh, she hosted the night show on Energy FM in New Plymouth. There you go. She has gone on to have so many roles. We feel like we know her. She's been at so many stations and has become one of our music broadcasting greats. But at the beginning of July, JJ signed off her last radio show. Oh, I'm feeling a little after 33 years. So she is obviously here to talk to me today through the decision, and I'm dying to find out what she's up to. JJ, hello.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
It's good to be here. Yeah.
You know, there's not many podcasts I go on. You know, there's a lot out there, but I'm a big fan of you.
Oh, I love that. So it's good to have you here.
You're an inspiring woman yourself. You know. Well, let's not go on.
I think we're all a bit same underneath it all, though, aren't we? We've all got the same bloody... Let's talk about that.
Okay,
some quick fire questions, though. If you go to the pub or for a drink with any celebrity, who would that be?
Oh, God, probably Pink. She'd just be so fun.
See, she is inspiring.
Yeah. And also I reckon she'd be quite, bad. She'd be a bad influence. So we'd get up to so much mischief. It'd be fun.
Yeah. No, she's one of my goddesses. I think she's right. Do you have a drink of choice?
I'd probably go, if I'm out at the pub, I'll go vodka lime soda. Just very boring.
Yeah.
Unless, if I'm going to mix it up with cocktails, I don't like to have too many because, all the sugar and all. I'll probably have an espresso martini and maybe a porn star martini.
And,
I don't know, a couple of cocktails, but vodka lime soda.
Okay, favourite bar, pub, restaurant, anywhere in the world?
Oh, anywhere in the world. That's tough.
You've just been to Bali. God, they have good food.
Bali has exceptional food. Yeah. World class. Yeah. People who haven't been there would not imagine, but it's amazing.
It really is, a flavour fusion.
I'm not a foodie, but I know good food when I see it. There were so many amazing restaurants there. I don't know. God, that's tough. I just like to go where there's a good vibe. Okay. You know, where it feels nice, you feel relaxed and you think, this is going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you. Okay, we're going to go in-depth into your decision to walk away from radio in the second segment and get some advice on how to have a restart, I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
Sort of restart your life, and I've been there and done that, and talk a bit more about what that sort of feels like and the decisions that people can make. But, how hard was it to do the last show? Was it?
By the time I got to the last show, I think it was fine. It was actually hard to make the decision to leave. So I had been thinking about it for a couple of years, really. I just felt worn out, tired, stale. And I knew I wasn't putting the effort in that I should have. Yeah,
so that last day then, it's all, not quite a relief, but you've made, as you say, getting to the decision is often harder than the actual doing of it, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of sad, but it was also happy at the same time, the last show.
Yeah.
But, I was just kind of, by that stage, I was just really looking forward to getting it over with.
Yeah. So how are you now? I mean, you've just had some time in Bali, haven't you?
Yeah, I went to Bali 3 weeks. Good time.
And you got around too, didn't you? You went Seminyak and you Ubud and
all around.
Yeah.
Because I've been twice before. The first time I went was 2018, so not too long ago, and then a year or so ago. So I wanted to just go stay in a little bit of all the places rather than just Seminyak or just Ubud.
Yeah. Did you have a favourite?
It's so hard. I don't know, they're all favourites for different reasons because all the areas of Bali are so different.
They really are, eh?
Yeah, Ubud is just so cool.
I was going to say Ubud was my favourite.
Yeah.
But I stayed in a tree house.
Did you?
Yeah, and there was only 10 other couples there.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just quiet and all organic and shit I'm not normally into, to be really honest.
Yeah, but when you're on holiday, you need to relax, right? You obviously went there for a relaxation. And what perfect place to do it than in a treehouse in the middle of the forest.
You're an influencer. So do you get, so do they shout you and you do things? Or
No. Not a single thing was free. Not a single thing. I don't go out asking people to give me stuff. I don't ring hotels and go, hi, I've got 100,000 followers on Facebook. Will you let me stay there? I'm not going to do that. That's not me.
And because they're running businesses, eh?
Yeah, and they must get every single bloody wannabe influencer ask them. So I just don't want to be that person at all. Yeah. And, I had the money to go. So.
Yeah.
If someone wants to give me something for free, I'll happily take it, but I'm not going to ask for it.
No, that's very cool. I understand completely. Okay, we're going to talk about radio a bit later, but so you've launched this new business, so let's talk a bit about that. So what, Pod Lab?
Yeah.
And so you've been doing up the garage. Yes. Whose garage is it?
It was actually originally owned by Red Bull.
Yeah.
It was their original premises. So it's this big 90 square metre garage. It had a ramp so they drive all their vehicles in there. It was an absolute
I was going to say, that's bigger than most people's apartments these days.
Yeah. It's a big space. And then there's one studio and then a big control room, which we're going to turn into a second studio.
Yeah.
So it's because Red Bull had built the studio, but it's not... it does need some extra things. It's all very old.
Yeah.
And the garage is gross. Like, it was disgusting. So we've, had the floors all sanded and we've got to do painting and redecorating and blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so we better tell everyone who we is. So it's you and
me
Dom.
and Dom, my ex-husband.
God, you guys are bonkers in such a good way.
Yeah. We get on so well. We're a great team together. So he's very, very creative. He's got a genius mind for that. Not very good at admin at all.
That's all right.
Or organising things, but that's me.
Yeah.
So he wanted to, because he's got his podcast, the Dom Harvey podcast, which has been going for about 3 years and it's doing really well. He wanted to get a studio, because his is in his house.
Yeah.
He wanted to get a studio that he could use elsewhere and rent out to other podcasters, because he's had people come to him, ask if they can use the space, people from out of town and things like that. So he had said that he wanted to do this for a while. And
what a great idea.
Up until I resigned from More FM, I had no idea that this was going to happen. 1 week after I resigned, so a week before I actually left, was when Dom said to me, I found the space. We've got the space, the lease is available, we could take it over. Wow. And so I was thinking, I'm going to have 3 weeks in Bali and I'm going to come back and be unemployed for about, 2 or 3 months and just twitter around and do this and that. But next minute I was, oh boy, okay.
You're cleaning and you're scraping walls and you're organising admin and you're...
Just talking to boring people like trademark lawyers and stuff like that.
I'm going to tell you off a little bit because I'm older than you, so I'm allowed to. I was reading something and you described it as your failed marriage. And I was just thinking, what you've had is a successful marriage and then you've had this successful separation that just not many people do.
Yeah, I know, but you do.
So you're not allowed to use that word.
Okay, thanks. You can't help but feel like
it didn't work.
Yeah,
but then it did work when it did work.
Yeah, I mean, we are still legally married, so... It was our 20th anniversary last month.
There you go. You go.
No, but, I mean, I'm lucky. I'm lucky because we will still be close forever.
Yeah.
But, just the romance is not there.
Yeah. And that's right. So then you make a decision, and I call it, and it's not just about relationships and that sort of thing, but at some level I also think we've got to own the life we lead.
Yeah.
And if it's not working and it's not, then actually there's a whole lot of people out there that don't have choices, and there's women like you and me who do have choices. And so you've got to make them sometimes.
Yeah. But also, you've got to also think, you can't think what everyone else is going to say or say about you, because we'd never get anything done, because there are so many bloody opinions out there. And I hate it when someone tries to give me the uneducated opinion about my life. It's you don't know me.
And they're so adamant that they're right, aren't they?
I know. And it's just like, shut up. I'm not judging your life piss off out of mine.
No, I said to someone recently, has it ever occurred to you that you may not be 100% correct? And he looked at me shocked. You know, like, but it's just not occurred to me at all. Of course I'm 100% correct. You are a great, and I say this as a kindred spirit, you are a great oversharer though.
Oh, I know. I think that's just the radio person in me. So, it's now ingrained in me as well. Like, you have to overshare in radio in order to get people to, connect with you and, to get the ratings, all that stuff. That's just what my job has always been. And but apart from that, I mean, I have always naturally been a bit of an open book.
Yeah.
Because I don't care too much what people say specifically. So I'm happy to share and be open because I have no secrets. Yeah. Like, I have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
I think everyone has secrets, but I have nothing to hide generally.
Yeah. So is there, outside of the Pod Lab, is there any other plans at the moment or anything you're thinking of? Or, was there something in your mind that you sort of went, I just want to do this before I die?
No, nothing. I had no idea what I wanted to do. When I was terrified about leaving radio because it's all I've known and I thought, God, what am I going to do? I can't imagine doing anything else. I'm not qualified really to do anything else either. So the Pod Lab thing just has happened and I'm excited to run with it. So I don't know what else I would have done. I mean, my dream would be to just travel all the time. That's what I love doing. But that costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I can't travel in the cheap seats, in the budget hotels. I got to stay somewhere nice.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, there's some dose of reality there as to what we'd like to do and what we kind of have to do.
I'm not a cheap date.
Okay, I really want to get into chatting a lot more about leaving radio, the reasons behind it. You've talked about being tired, and I think you're going to have some valuable advice for people. So let's take a quick ad break and come back really shortly. Okay, I am back with Jay Jay Feeney. It is gutsy to leave a 33-year-long career. As you kind of indicated, it's sort of all you knew, right?
Yeah.
I thought rocking up with someone that you just enjoy working with and having fun and laughing for a few hours each day would be the best job in the world.
It is the best job in the world. That's awesome. That part's awesome. That's just not the job. That's part of the job. That's what everyone sees as the job. But the job is all the stuff outside of that. It's all the preparation, coming up with the ideas, being everywhere everyone wants you to be and everyone wants a piece of you, and you've got to deal with management and their decisions that you might not agree with, and the stresses of just working in an environment with people that you've got to rely on to do things for you, and they're not always thinking that the same way as you, or maybe they are, and it's just like you're doing all this extra work and it's really exhausting and blah blah blah. So it's not the radio show. The radio show is fun, but everything else around it just exhausted me.
Yeah. And then and is it hard? Is it hard to be upbeat and positive and know that you're in everyone's ears and you're in their cars and you're in their, and you're having a bad day and you just feel like crap and, is that hard?
Yeah, that's hard. There's been days when I would be, and even my co-hosts, you'd be crying because something really horrible is going on in your personal life. You'd be crying and then the song ends and you've got to talk and you just like, it's More FM with JJ and Flinny driving you home, you have to put it aside, fake it for a couple of minutes, and then you go back to sitting on the floor in a crumpled mess, just wishing the day was over. So you do have times like that. Sometimes you'll admit it, but
we all have bad days in our lives, and we've all got jobs, and so sometimes I always used to say to my staff, as the lift doors open, I'd go big girl pants on. Now I'm in my job.
Yeah.
Like with the fight with the husband this morning, the dog that just died is absolutely traumatic, but I am big girl pants on. But yours is different in that, you could kind of close your office door a little bit more or do that, whereas yours is you are expected to entertain for hours.
I know, and that was like one of the hardest parts of the job as well. So you don't get any flexibility, any sympathy from the boss or anything, because you've got a job to do, you've got to be on the air. So sometimes it was just so draining. You feel so used and abused if you're going through a bad time. So it was hard sometimes, but for the most part, pretty happy and positive. Those days don't happen that often.
Yeah. But mentally exhausting, you've described it, to try and come up with 4 hours of content every day.
Oh, just for years and years and years and years, every day, 5 days a week, 4 hours of talking about stuff, and everyone has to agree on it. And, it's just, there's only you and your co-host, and of the last few years, producers have some input, but generally the producers are just there to assist you.
Yeah.
Get you the guests you want or whatever. They don't often have all the ideas. So it is a creative drain.
Yeah. So you've had a lot of co-hosts. Who's been your favourite?
If I don't say Dom, he'll kill me. If I don't say Flinny, he'll kill me. No, I don't know. When I worked with Mike Peru and Dom, that was a good time.
Yeah.
Jay Jay, Mike and Dom on the Edge, that was a really good time. And working with Flinny was good as well because he's so he's creative and hardworking, and he doesn't stress and get anal about things.
Yeah, which is good, right?
Yeah.
So making the decision to leave.
Yeah.
So you just knew you were tired. You knew you weren't bouncing up and thinking, I can't wait to get to work every day.
No,
and you'd been thinking about it for a couple of years.
Yeah. I just felt like I wasn't really being myself. And it's not anyone's fault or anything, but it's just the way that the media landscape has changed. So back when I was at the Edge, for example, we were encouraged to just push the boundaries, say what we want, do what we want, just really, get people listening and pull stunts and do whatever. That was a fun time. So when I went to More FM, it was very, it's family friendly. Our audience is more conservative. You're not allowed to be that person you were on the Edge. You have to, calm down a little bit and blah, blah, all this sort of stuff. And so I understood that, but I just felt like, I guess, because you can't have an opinion because people complain and, management don't like complaints, even though I know that complaints are good. But, so I felt like...
It means someone cares enough to actually called up.
So I felt quite restricted, and I thought, I'm just not doing... I just didn't feel challenged enough, I think. So it's not like anyone is to blame for that. It's just the way, the kind of station I was on and the time of life, the way that things are in the media right now. I just felt a bit not lazy, just boring. I felt a bit boring and stale.
So that's interesting what you're saying about the Edge. So, you must have had some outrageous moments. Yeah?
We think about some of the things we did and we got away with.
What did you do?
Oh, there's things you would not get away with now. We'd be cancelled so badly. I'm almost scared to remind people what we did because you know how people drag up old jokes comedians told 20 years ago and then cancel them now? And I'm like, God,
and the fake phone call things and imitating people. And we've seen quite recently someone do that, and mind you, it was over the top. But so has it changed? Do you think it has? You've definitely noticed that change of what's acceptable and what's not?
Oh, for sure. Social media has done that. Yeah. So because everyone has a platform now, and generally it's more whingy than anything else. You don't go online and say, nice things. People generally go there if they want to be heard and complain about something. So it's definitely changed the landscape. But we used to do things like, first of all, we did a lot of nudity and stuff like that, stupidly. But it always, we'd say tits get hits because people loved it. Some people would complain, not too many actually, but if you were nude, you always pulled a crowd, always. And we used to do outrageous things, like we'd have these singled out parties at pubs all around New Zealand, and our listeners would just fall over themselves to try and get the free tickets to go. Yeah. This is very limited in numbers, and we'd go on these parties every single time. We'd do all these outrageous bar games and stuff, every single time we would get a handful of people up on stage completely naked to win a free T-shirt. And we'd do things like one time we did this thing called, this was not my idea, the dance. Oh, I don't even know if I can say this. Okay. The dance of the flaming pubes. Oh. And you'd like light someone's pubes on fire. Oh.
My goodness.
One time we were in Palmerston North, I think it was the Grumpy Mole, and this guy did the dance of the flaming pubes, and the smell was so bad that everyone evacuated.
That's outrageous.
But it was just like, we just did stupid stuff like that. And then we had a competition called Fat Bastard, where we had, we broadcast from a shop window in Wellington. I can't remember the shop now. I think it was a bedding shop or something like that. And we got all these people in there and we weighed them, and they would win $5,000, the person who put on the most weight.
Wow.
And we would punish people by making them go on the treadmill and not feeding them.
Wow.
You know, and then to reward people, they get pies and donuts and all this. And it's just like, you could not do that now. But at the time, it was supposedly hilarious.
Well, I'm finding it quite funny.
Well, I mean, because if you've got a sense of humour, it's funny. But if you're
offended by everything.
If you're a woke person, you'll be like, oh, you can't talk about weight, and you can't be encouraging people to lose weight or put on weight. But, I mean, it just was what it was. It was just entertainment.
Yeah. And it is a bit of that, if you're offended, don't listen.
That's what I'm thinking. Just, you can turn it off. It's free as well. You don't, we're not making you listen to this.
True.
That's the one thing I don't get about people who complain about a service they're getting for free that they don't have to have. Like, sure, if you go to a restaurant and there's a hair in your dinner, you're paying for that. You shouldn't have to pay. But if you're listening to the radio or watching TV and it's free, just change the channel if you're mad. Yeah. Why don't come complaining to me?
No, I hear you, and I agree completely. So, do you think that music radio will survive?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, nothing has killed radio since radio began. Like, every time a new technology's come out, people have said, oh, CDs, that's going to kill radio. You know, oh, music, TV, that's going to kill radio. Spotify, that's going to kill radio. Nothing will kill radio. Radio is still, like, number one most listened to audio medium in the world. But it is slowly declining. And in my opinion, it's because for commercial radio, because we've lost that ability to be ourselves and connect with an audience like we used to. Like, now it's all very cookie cutter. You know, you have to do things this way, and you have to do a wacky phone topic and get people to call in, and it's all cool and stuff. And you have your relatable stories, but I just feel like that podcasting is going to be where people go to get a connection more. The radio's easy, you can turn it on and it's just there and the music plays and the people talk, and that's fine, and I don't think it's going to die anytime soon. But I do think that radio programmers have got to watch out for how the connections happen with podcasters now, because you're going to choose a podcast to listen to because you like the host, you like the person on it, or you love the subject or whatever it is. It's very intimate. You've got your earphones in and you might be running, walking the dog, you might be doing the housework, you're in the car, you do it by yourself, you're alone. So you're going to find this super connection with a podcaster, and it's sort of a bit, it used to be that in radio, but I think it's getting less and less with music radio.
Is it the audience that demands it, or is it the advertisers?
Well, the advertisers are necessary for this station to, exist, but it's the audience that demands it, because they're going to show you that they don't want what you're giving them by turning off. Yeah, the ratings are so key. So you can see there's a slight decline, but mainly actually it is with the younger generation too, because they didn't grow up with a radio in their house. They didn't grow up like we did. So the older generation, I'm going to say maybe 30 plus or 35 plus, not saying that anyone who's 30 is old, but, we grew up with radios in our house. So we get in the car, we turn on the radio, so that's all fine. But eventually we're all going to, die, and the young people coming in, who's going to have a radio in their house? So I'm just not sure long term radio is going to have to evolve more.
I think you're right. I'm thinking about my 23-year-old. and stepdaughter, and she just wouldn't. Yeah, I don't think she listens to the radio.
Yeah, I'm hearing more and more now. People say, I listen to a podcast in my car. And that's where the radio listening needs to happen.
Yeah.
That's where we rely on listeners, people in cars. So it's kind of scary. It's not going to happen quickly or anything, but just radio just has to. They're doing well with having the apps and things that you can connect to your phone, but it definitely has to be as little effort as possible for people. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's a big move to leave without having something else to go to.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it. I did it in politics, and I'd known for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I sort of tell the story of, being with Bill English, and he said, I've got to let you know that in the next few days, I'm going to announce that I'm retiring from, and a tear sort of ran down my face. And he goes, oh, God, I didn't think you'd care that, you'd be that emotional. I went, I'm just jealous.
Yeah, I've had that from lots of my workmates too. Oh, I'm so jealous that you can do that, or that you've got the guts to do it.
The guts to do it.
Yeah, so, it is gutsy. I do know that.
So what advice would you give to people that perhaps are in jobs where they just are feeling burnt out, are feeling tired and not enjoying it as much?
Yeah.
What advice would you give them as far as that process to go through to make a decision whether to stay or go?
Like it does, you do have to come to you do have to work it over in your head for a little bit. It's not going to be an instant decision, but I just say just try and get to the decision as quick as possible, and just grab life by the balls and do it, because what is the worst that's going to happen? And if you think about everybody who's been in a situation where they've lost their job or a partner or their house or whatever, anything like that, it is terrible at the time. It's like, oh my God, how can I move on from this? But then not long after that, you find a way, you pick yourself up, you move forward, and most of those people will say, that was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And I hear that so often and see that so often that I thought, I'm just going to do it because I need to, because I'm so unhappy. I'm so tired and stressed out. And I don't want to feel like this anymore. So I just think if you're in a bad situation where you're not enjoying it, whether it be a relationship or a workplace or whatever it is, just do it. Take the leap. Things will come. Things will happen.
As you get a bit older as well, I've learned that, you go through ups and downs, and that's a part of life. And so sometimes when I'm struggling a bit, and whether it's, and that I also know, though, to take a breath, that this might be a moment and it might pass.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And then when it's like, okay, it's, it's week 6.
Yeah.
Like this is not just a moment. This is ongoing. So I need to change something, and I do have the power to do that. So,
yeah. I'm not saying be spontaneous at all.
No.
Like I said, you and I both know it took a couple of years.
Yeah.
And it does, because you have to be really ready and sure. And
I didn't hate it.
No.
You know what I mean? Like if you hated something, it'd be much easier, right?
Yeah, and I didn't hate it either, but I just couldn't deal with the mental exhaustion every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought maybe it's because I'm older now, I'm middle-aged, so maybe because I don't have the energy I used to have.
Yeah.
But I'm still having to output the same energy. So I knew that it was just, I'm tired, so maybe I need to slow down as well.
So did you need a plan in place to do it?
Well, the only thing, because I honestly had no idea what I was going to do, and I just thought, oh my God, I don't know, I'll do some MCing, I'll do some, I'll pick up jobs here and there. But I thought, I figured out, okay, I need to get enough money together that I can live for 3-4 months without pay, just so that I know I'm not going to be panicked.
Yeah.
So I just sort of saved up a bit, and then I felt ready to do it.
Yeah.
So just having that because you don't want to be stressed and have no money to not pay your rent and all that stuff.
No.
So just get the support, or just get prepared, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I did.
And I think for me as well, I didn't know what I was going to do. And I've ended up doing a lot of different things and being open to opportunities.
Yeah.
So that's fun. But equally, not to be so proud that I didn't take a job.
Yeah.
Because some people get a bit full of themselves. I'm talking about ex-politicians mainly.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Well, if you're you have more fun, I think, if you leave yourself open to do different things.
Yeah.
And also, you'd know this too. When you're free of something, opportunities just come to you.
Yeah.
Because people know you're available or whatever, and they go, oh, I know, I'll ask Paula if she wants to do this, or
that's true.
Jay Jay to do that. And so actually I've had lots of opportunities and offers of little side hustles and stuff to do, and all that. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's very cool, eh? So do you call it a kind of a reset of life? I mean,
I think so. Because I really thought, call it a midlife crisis, but, I turned 50 in March and I sort of thought, okay, this has been the first half of my life. Well, I'm not going to live to 100, but maybe I will. This is, the first half of my life, and I've really done everything I thought I could. I just honestly didn't think there's anything more I could do in radio, I don't think, especially not music radio. So I thought, what's the second half of my life going to look like? So can I do this again for another 30 years?
Yeah.
I don't think so. So,
and I'm sorry, but there is a woman age thing in it as well.
Yeah.
If you want to reinvent, and I was trying to explain this to a room full of men the other day, and because they were like, why did you leave politics? And I went, well, because I knew I was going to leave anyway, and there is this window of opportunity for a woman over 50. I could reinvent myself at 50, 52, couldn't reinvent myself at 60. You all wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
And they went, actually, that's true.
Ageist, eh?
It is, well, there's something there.
There is.
Yeah, but a complete change of career or, you know what I mean? Like I think there is a window for women in particular as well. And I'm sure a whole lot of men would actually feel that too.
I mean, it's terrifying to do something new after you've just done the one thing.
Yeah, and particularly when you've been good at it. And so are people still do that? I mean, obviously you're so recognisable. So do people talk about it when yeah.
Yeah, if strangers who see me out, they'll tell me, oh, I miss hearing you on the radio in the afternoons, or they'll say, oh, how's retirement going, But I do get quite a few messages of people saying, oh, they really miss me. But I think it's because radio is a habit as well. And so you're used to hearing, no one likes change. So when there's a different voice on the radio, it takes a little while to warm up to the new voice.
So what's the key to surviving the spotlight?
Oh, God, you have to have a thick skin. Radio people, politicians. You just can't. You just have to have a thick skin and just don't let other people's opinions get to you, really. Only the opinions of the people that matter, like, the people you work with and your family and friends and things like that. I don't know. I always try and keep it positive in the spotlight. I love it when people come up to me and talk to me and ask for photos and stuff. I'll never turn anyone down. I'll always be friendly and helpful to them because people will talk about you. They'll tell their friends they met you and what they thought of you. And so I'll always try and be, positive and happy because I generally are.
Yeah. And most people are lovely, right?
Yeah. And I just don't take myself too seriously.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a wanker. I know where I came from and I don't think I'm better than anyone else. No. And I've been lucky to have such a good life, but I've been in a good position, but I don't have a big ego about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I reckon there's some really good advice in there that, if you're not happy and it's not kind of working for you, take some time, work through a process, but as you say, make a decision because actually making it is the hardest bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely is, yeah.
So might we see you back in radio one day?
If you see me back in radio, it's probably because my business didn't work out and I need to earn some regular money. No, I don't know. I don't know. At the moment, I'll say no, but you never know. I'd love to do talk back at some point, but I have no experience in it, so whether or not I'd even get that opportunity. But never say never.
Yeah.
But just it's so soon right now.
Yeah.
I only left a couple of months ago and I really am so busy setting up, the Pod Lab business. Yeah. So I don't know.
Just to be really clear to anyone that's listening, I would never go back to politics.
Okay. I don't even know
it's my most asked question. Would you go back? And I'm just like, are you kidding me?
I don't even know why you did it though. I mean, it's amazing that you did and good on you, but who would want to be a politician? You get the most criticism. People are so nasty to politicians.
Yeah.
And, they really make things personal. Yeah. And it's just really unfair and uncool. So I don't know.
It's weird, eh?
You're stronger than I am, actually. I don't know if I could handle that.
No, like you just got to ignore it. Yeah. Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone knows exactly what should be happening in the country, but they don't want to stand up and do it themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that was me being a bit moany.
Oh.
Okay, to end our advice segment, I would love to know the best advice you were ever given and who was it given by?
Oh, that is tough because, oh God, I'm I don't have a great memory for specific things like that. I'm just always like, I'm inspired by the advice of like just keeping your eye on the prize. You know, what are you here for and what is the end goal? And just don't give up, because there's going to be people trying to cut you down, trying to tell you you're not good enough, trying to tell you you can't do it. But ignore them, because they're just distractions. Just keep your eye on the prize and go for it.
Love it.
Just keep trying.
Okay, JJ, how did you get the name? Is it just your name, JJ?
I was born Jacqueline Joanne, hyphenated, because my mum wanted to call me JJ after some character on TV back in the 70s. And my dad said, oh, you can't call her JJ, it has to stand for something. So mum named me after her mum, which Jacqueline, and her mum's friend Joanne, who had passed away from cancer. So that was my name, but...
and that's how you got JJ.
Yeah, but I've never been called Jacqueline Joanne, or I was called Jackie at school for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I changed my name by deed poll a few years ago, because it's just confusing having two names.
Yeah. Okay, JJ, the podcast is called Ask Me Anything. Mm-hmm. So far I've done all the asking. Yeah. So this is your opportunity to ask me something if you'd like to.
Well, I've just always wanted to know, like, because politics is so, you know, it's such a hard, horrible thing from the outside looking in, but there must have been some good perks. So top 3 perks being the Deputy Prime Minister, maybe.
Yeah. By the way, there's not all the superannuation perks that everyone thinks there are when you leave. There's not the travel perks that everyone thinks you get when you leave. So that left in 1996. Oh. So when I'm listening to talk back and I hear people going, oh, they only stayed 9 years so they could get all the perks, I literally shout at the radio.
Well, say that now. Tell me what's true, what's not about the perks.
Yeah, so there's none of those perks. You are well paid. There's no two ways about it. When you're in the job, people, particularly when you're a minister, people would think that getting the Crown car and a driver was a perk. Mm-hmm. That would be one that I would argue that is not a perk.
Really? Why?
Because it's very much just for your job. And the reason would be I would go and visit a woman's refuge. I would sit with a woman who has been through, you know, some of the most traumatic, horrific stuff I've ever heard of. And, you know, to the point where, you know, a little known to the public is that, you know, we actually do inter-country swaps in some cases for women that can't even stay in the same country because it's that bad, right?
Yeah.
So you're sitting there one-on-one listening to the, you know, most, and then I get in that car and 10 minutes later I'm expected to entertain a room of 150 people.
Yeah.
Okay, so a driver driving me and me not having to think about where I park and me being able to read my papers and hop in the car and have a wee cry and then go, big girl pants on. You know, get up off the floor and talk into the microphone like you had to.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, and you're always late. And I was actually thinking the other day, I don't miss it, by the way. It was always a perk that came with the job.
Yeah.
So it wasn't ever real. But I must admit, I was driving the other day and I just thought, God, I would have so much more time if someone drove me.
Yeah.
You know,
have you heard of Uber?
I would get so much more done. You know, like that hour in the morning sitting in traffic, I would get an hour's work done.
Yeah.
It was the only way I could keep. And my husband, even now, he goes, I just don't know how you read as much as you do in a moving car. And I said, because of my job, I just had to.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have the luxury of sitting there and watching the world go by.
I know, there's a lot of things to read when you're a politician.
Yeah. A lot. And you're expected to be up with it, right? Which is fair enough.
Because obviously I know Stephen Joyce.
Yeah.
Because he gave me my first job in radio.
Oh, he would have in New Plymouth.
He refers to me as his uncle and I'm his niece. But yeah, so he hired me from high school.
Wow.
So I've even seen his diary when he was a minister and how hectic it is, and all the paperwork. He wasn't even the Prime Minister, so I'm like, what the hell does the Prime Minister have to read every night?
Yeah,
and we didn't get any sleep. Yeah, I sympathise.
Yeah, so I'm sure people think the car is a perk, and but I just think it's absolutely necessary for you to do your job. Oh, and you're having very confidential conversations, and so I completely respect and trusted the drivers.
Yeah,
and you couldn't do that in an Uber.
Yeah, that's true.
Because how often do you get in a taxi or an Uber and they recognise you and then they tell you something about someone else? Oh, I once had a Labour and they da-da-da. And I just think, well, if you were willing to say that about them, you're going to say something about me.
Yeah.
So I just don't talk to them. Then I think, well, now they're going to say that she was a rude bitch. And I'm like, I'm okay with that.
Oh, well, I mean, if you're a politician, you're allowed to have that reputation.
A little bit sturdy.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
I don't think that wouldn't work with me. That wouldn't. If I had the reputation of being a rude bitch, that wouldn't help my ratings at all. But now that I'm not on the radio, maybe
maybe you can try and dig into that inner self. Okay, JJ, I have loved having you here today. Thanks so much for coming in. All the best for what's coming up, for the plans that you've already got, but equally for the opportunities that I just know are going to come your way.
Oh, gosh.
It's exciting.
It's overwhelming.
And that's it for another episode of Ask Me Anything. If you've enjoyed this episode, please follow Ask Me Anything on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you check out some of our past fabulous guests because we are in season 6 now. And I'll be back next Sunday with someone else who's fabulous. I'm Paula Bennett. Ask Me Anything. Goodbye.